Changing minds one thought at a time.
Greetings, everyone, and welcome to the Changing Minds Online Empowering Women series. Good evening, Akina. How are you doing tonight?
Fine. How are you doing today, Jessica?
I am doing awesome. It was a really powerful day. You know, I had a great day in church, and we went and we worked in a shelter today feeding the homeless. It was really a great experience. It was very humbling. I was really glad to be able to be part of it. I know you had a powerful day yourself as well.
Yes, it was definitely moving. I love the church I'm going to, and we had a very high time.
Yeah, you know, Akina and I we've coined this year and the year of execution, and we have both just been really diligently working to really make ourselves better so we can kind of serve you guys better. And it's been a really amazing journey. I've actually been part a transformation leadership course that I've been taking, and tonight we actually have one of my friends on the call from the transformation course. And this person and I have just been on a journey together, and we really have committed to being unrecognizable. We've committed to just stretching ourselves to get out of our comfort zone and to really be, and more than we ever thought we could be. This person that is going to be on the call is a dear friend of mine. You know, we have just grown together. I love her from the bottom of my heart. Just am so proud of her and her transformation and where I've seen her come. And I know that she has an amazing message to share with us tonight, about us being enough. Women especially, we tend to question all the times, is this really for me? Can I really create the life I want to live? And, Keenan and I talk about changing our minds and creating our life, the fact that you get to do anything you want to do, that you just get to be successful in every area of your life, that you can have abundance, that you can create your life by design. And one of the, questions that women often have is, am I enough? Like, I get that that's possible. I get it's possible for someone else. I get it's possible for Jessica. I get it's possible for Akina. I get it's possible for Oprah or some of the big leaders. But is it actually possible for me? Am I enough? And, it's with absolute honor, privilege that I can bring my friend Tracy Isabizwa on the call tonight so she can really start answering that question for you. Welcome, Tracy. It's an honor to have you on the call tonight.
Thank you so much, Jessica. How are you ladies doing this evening?
We're doing awesome, thank you. How about yourself?
I am doing very well. I'm actually very excited to get into this topic about you are more than enough, and I'm just excited and ready to dive right in there, and hope that everyone has an open heart, to hear what I'm saying and to really understand it and take it in for what it is.
Yeah, absolutely. I think that of all the calls we've done, this really has the potential to be one of the most powerful, because it really goes down to that, like, abundance versus scarcity conversation. Like, what are you really attracting into your life? Ultimately, if you're coming from the perspective that you're not enough to create the life that you want to live, you can do all those affirmations and you can do all the vision boards you want. You can go to all the different networking events and meetups, and you can, do your scheduling and do your journaling and everything you're supposed to be doing. But the truth is that you have to believe that you are enough to actually be successful. And that's why this is such a powerful and important call tonight. So I love this topic, Tracy. Thank you for picking it. And, I know that you have been, you worked on an illustration for us and, an example of that you can share with us. I'd love if you could just open up with that tonight.
Absolutely. So I'm going to dive right in there, and, I hope that all the listeners that are chiming in or dialing in right now can pick up where I basically leave off. And this is something that was dropped in my heart to discuss with you guys. So I hope that you take it for what it is and you actually run with it. So, Just Jessica, I've been, basically racking my brain on, what area of discussion, to highlight here this evening, and I kind of find myself stuck. So many topics came to mind, but none that really encompass the true essence of what you are more than enough really means. So, as I look back, I realized that in my preparation for, what to say and how to say it, I was in an environment of chaos. Running around, with errands here and there, crisis at work, this meeting, that meeting, so many things that had my mind all over the place. So I hadn't gotten a chance to just stop and listen. So anyone that knows me well, can tell that I hate being unprepared in any sense of the word. So, it's kind of, presents me in a way that looks as if I'm not focused or determined or ready, for what I'm getting myself into. So, I knew about the show about a month now, and the topic of discussion, didn't come to me until about maybe 5 days ago. With all the hustle and bustle of this thing called life, it was difficult to just generate the time to just stop and listen. So, some of you may be asking, what am I listening out for, or to whom am I listening to? And I'm a very strong believer in God. So from Him alone, I get my direction in life. So He is whom I listen out for, and what I'm trying to hear is the next direction as to what it is that I'm going to be doing. For those of you who are believers, you're aware that as I'm that God does not speak in the midst of chaos. In fact, He does come as a still small voice that, if you weren't sensitive enough or quiet enough, you could actually miss Him speaking to you. And for those of you who are not believers, I struggle with the reasoning behind what it is that I'm saying right now. I still hope that you stay tuned with the message, because what it presents is more of something that you should come from a place of listening and understanding, and it's not going to force you to commit to any kind of belief system. So, basically what I really want to get into, and what I want you guys to kind of get yourself prepared for, is this illustration that was brought to me, during my listening stage and my meditation stage. So it's going to be a little fun, I hope. So I hope you guys can, chime in, every now and again. So basically, I wanted to stop for a minute and take a trip on a bus. So we'll call it a bus, but quote unquote, this bus is life. Okay. So basically, we have gotten on this bus, metaphorically speaking, life. So I want you guys to just remember that. So oftentimes we get to a point in our lives where we're looking for change. We want something different. Different outlook on what life would be like if we were, a certain way, So we set ourselves out on this journey, riding this bus or quote unquote life. Now, remember, you start this journey off alone because this is your adventure. No one can love it more than you at this point, so you seek out on it alone. Now, if you notice, I stated that you're riding this bus, not driving it. So who's the driver? Some of you may ask, okay, if I'm riding on this bus, who's actually driving the bus? This is where a lot of us, we stumble and, we never really truly make it to the end of our journey because we allow ourselves to be led, or in this case, driven by what we feel has the ultimate capability of getting us to our destination. Now, if you notice, I said the word what and not whom. So we don't want to limit our thinking here to only feel that a person or persons is what drives our decision-making in life. That what can signify anything or anyone in our lives that we allow to take the wheel of that quote-unquote bus. Or in layman's terms, anything or anyone we allow to take the wheel of our lives. So anything can symbolize money, a certain type of job or career, houses, cars, and anything like that, anything kind of like materialistic. And then anyone in this case can be like a higher power that you believe in or trust in, like your parents or your friends, a social group, your siblings, etc. So you know, you may now ask, why can't I drive this bus myself? Now, don't get me wrong, you can absolutely drive the bus, right? So and I continue to say bus, but I want you guys to get into to listening and the thinking of the bus really means life, okay? So you can drive this bus, but literally speaking, when we get into the practice of listening for direction, it gets complicated and almost insignificant to take direction from ourselves, you know, without falling victim of being biased of our own thinking. So with the help of a driver, you know, you get to have someone that can be objective to certain decisions that you make. You know, hence the reason why, you know, you must be careful of who or what you decide to take the wheel of your life. So now that you have decided who is taking the driver's seat in this bus, you set out for your journey, right? So notice how long the process was just to figure out who or what will be behind that wheel, okay? And to be honest, I actually, you know, really appreciate the time lapse here because it helps you make a conscious effort in your determination of who or what is behind that wheel. Now, while you're on this bus, you set out on a journey or quote-unquote life. For those of you who have cars or been in any type of road trip for a long time, you know that various situations have the tendency to arise. For example, you run into all types of potholes, catch flat tires, and, you know, I know a few listeners that may be on now know that for some reason I always seem to catch a flat tire, and I don't know why, I don't know for what reason, but it's insane. You know, you run out of gas, you need a tune-up, maybe, you know, you even offer to give someone a lift along this journey. So this is the journey again, it's life. You know, this is happening in a certain time span. Now, the potholes, the flat tires, gas, the tune-up, you know, they're all metaphors for obstacles that we run into in life. So what I would suggest here is that you take a look at how often these obstacles come up in your life journey. You know, that's really big. Like, you know, does it always seem to be the same type of issue? And if so, what have you done in the past that clearly didn't work and may need to be revisited but in a different frame of thinking? So, you know, you want to kind of go back and figure out what was it that you did in the past to take care of the situation, but somehow it reared its ugly head again. So what did you do then? And somehow it reared its ugly head again. So what is it that you're doing that's not working? Or how is it that you're thinking that is not working in the past that you can change? Because that's really big. You know, our thinking, you know, really does a lot for our decision making. Okay? So then, lastly, I would add is, what is driving you? You know, who or whatever you have decided to take the wheel in your life has obviously led you off course. And that's important to really pay attention to, you know. And now that you're off course, what do? You know, the question is, you're trying to get from point A to point B to point C to point D, but somehow you've gotten off course somehow. So what do you do? So what I would personally do is I would change drivers. You know what I mean? So, you know, instead of going the way you've always been going all this time in your life, and things aren't manifesting, things aren't changing, things aren't going the way, you know, you want it to go, fix it. You know, change it. And people say, is it that easy? I would say, yeah, it is that easy. You know, because here's a kicker about this thing we call life. You know, we get to make the choice. You know, we have a choice. They say you have a choice and a voice. And it's really big that we understand and we really take that in, because even God will not make the choice for us. You know, for our believers out there, we know that God will not make the decision for us, because it's clearly written that, you know, we're given the opportunity to choose between life and death. So, again, we get to choose. So what kind of choices are you making in your life that's getting you to the point where you are now, or stopping you from getting to your final destination in life? You know what I mean? So yes, if something is not working, change it. You know, if the driving force in your life is all about money and you've gotten the money, but yet you're still unhappy, maybe you should change that. You know, change that what, quote unquote, what, you know, in the driver's seat. And if the driving force in your life is a prestigious job that you feel will make you look a type of way, you know, as far as living a lavish lifestyle, but yet, you know, you can't even finish college because you're struggling with every course that you take, which has nothing to do or any relevance to do with your purpose in life, then yes, you have to change that too. You know, and it's very important that we pay attention to these things. Like, you know, if we strive for something in life and we find ourselves in a roadblock where we're not moving forward or we're not moving as quickly as possible, we have to be able to wheel ourselves back and check where something went wrong. You know, and a friend of mine would laugh at this. I always bring this up to her. I would say, you know, you have to find the root cause analysis. You know, that's kind of like, I know it doesn't pertain in certain situations, but I just love saying root cause analysis because once you find a root of a problem, you know, you're able to kind of just fix it and then move on from there. And you know, also put in your mind that you're not going to make that same mistake again. You know, so it's extremely important that we pay attention to that. So, sorry, guys.
Yeah, that's beautiful, Tracy. Love how you're really talking about, like, the fact that you really do have to make a change. And, you know, we know the definition of insanity is like doing the same thing over and over and expecting different results. And, you know, everyone
Right.
hears that, and it may even be cliche at this point. But the truth is, so many of us actually wind up doing that. You know, we want something, and we go about it, and we do it over and over and over again, but we really are not connected to what it is we're really wanting. And I think you bring up a really great point when you talk about, like, the what. And, you know, you said, well, what are you doing? And the problem is that a lot of people do focus on the what, on what they're doing, but what they don't get connected to is their why. And, you know, that's the most important part. You know, you're more than enough to create any life that you want to live, and you're more than enough to be happy, and you're more than enough to be abundant. But in order to do so, and we've spoken about this time and time again in our podcast, you have to get connected to what your purpose is. You know, what is it? Why are you doing the things that you want to do? And why do you want it? Like, you know, you said, Tracy, why do you want to get this college degree? Like, what's your vision for the world? Every one of us, whether we're connected to it or not, we have a vision for the world. And if you really want to start living the life that you want to live, you have to figure out what that is. It's like trying to paint a picture without knowing what it is you're drawing or what it looks like. It's just not possible. It's absolutely 100% impossible to create the life you want to live if you don't know what the life you want to live looks like. And, you know, you can get a goal book and you could write down all the things you want to do, and that's great, and that's a bucket list, and you should do that, and you should go and do those things. But at the end of the day, that's just not enough. What you need to do is get connected to your purpose and get clear in your vision. And the rest, all the doing, that stuff just works itself out because you're enough. Because you're enough when you get connected to your why and you make a declaration about what you're creating for the world, everything else, it just comes to be. You don't need to figure it out. Put that in the hands of God, because if He gives you your purpose, He'll give you the answer to get there.
Exactly. And you know what? It gets funny in this journey, and I love to just talk about journey because, you know, we kind of tend to just live in the moment and forget, like, there's a whole life ahead of us. Like, there's just, you can't just live for just today. You know, what else? What are you going to do tomorrow? What are you going to do in a week from now? What are you going to do in a month from now? You know, what lives are you changing? Because, you know what, you're not just here for yourself. You know, that's not, for me personally, my purpose in life is not just for me. You know, I'm here for other people. I'm here to change people's lives. You know, and it took me a long time to realize that purpose, you know, that I have. But, you know, once you come to grips with it, it doesn't let you go. You know, it sticks with you. It's kind of like the monkey on your back, or whatever the analogy is that you would use for that. It's just there. You know, it's always there for some reason. You know, and while you're on this journey, you know, you sometimes get blindsided by things that you see. So, as you're driving past, everything looks good on the outside. They say what glitters is gold, and you kind of want it. Why? Because sometimes, someone else has it. So, you want to do what they're doing because, you see their lavish lifestyle, so you want to live like that. But, that's not what your purpose, that's not what, God has in store for you. You know what I mean? So this is why, I mentioned earlier that it may not be the best idea that you be that driver on that bus. Because, when you get to the point in life when you have to make a decision on whether to stop or go, or, and you see all this glitter, all these, nice, pretty things that you want, who or what is there to objectify your reasoning from an unbiased standpoint and keep you on track? Because if you already have your mind set on, I want to do it like her, because I want what she wants, and you're the driver on the seat, so you're the driving the full, fledged force behind this bus called life. Who's there to stand for you and say, you know what, maybe you should reconsider, or maybe you should think this way, or maybe you should really reevaluate, what you're doing in your life and see how far you go. And I don't think, we don't take the time to just stop and just realize that. And I kind of feel like that's where a lot of us struggle in life, because there's so much that goes on, so much that happens in life that you don't just get the time to just stop and realize, okay, I'm here, this is where I am, but this is where I want to go. So what am I going to do to get myself to that point? And what gets you to that point is realizing what your purpose is in life, So, some people may say, what is purpose? Simply to me, it's one word, passion. Passion means purpose. Your purpose in life is driven by your passion. And I stand to be corrected if other people, have other, definitions of what the word purpose means, but that's what it means for me. When you have passion as a driver on this thing we call life, nothing that glitters can blind you enough to get you off course, or in most cases off purpose. So my passion, honestly, has always been in the people business. Anyone that knows me, I've got a passion for people. I have a passion for kids. That's just who I've been. That's just all, all that's been on my mind is all that's been in my heart, helping others, changing their lives in ways that even gratitude isn't enough to cover. So my vision, which, by the way, I struggled with, coming up with until just a few months ago, is that everyone gets to experience breakthrough in various areas of their lives by renewing their minds and transforming their hearts. And it's as simple as that, So some people might say, okay, well, that sounds nice, but what does that look like? But being here on this show tonight, speaking to listeners and coming from a place of love is just one possibility of something that can happen that can impact the whole world, sometime in the future. You never know, and it's like, how long will that take? For me, I would say it's up to my driver, and in this case, I have God as my driver. He's driving my bus with passion as a matron on the bus to assist in case I get blinded, if that makes sense. So one thing I want, everyone that's listening to take from this is that, we're all not perfect. We make mistakes in life. We fall victim of bad decisions, but we have to understand that that's okay. Just take it from the standpoint that these mistakes are learning experiences that make for a better story. And I love to say that, things that happen in our lives, well, in my life, I used to be at the point where I would think like, oh, my God, why did this happen to me? Why is this happening to me? But why not? Why not let it happen to me so I can learn from it and be able to help somebody else who's going through it? It makes for such a great story. And these stories are meant to be shared, so that other people can have breakthroughs in their life.
Wow, that was definitely powerful. I definitely agree with your last statement that you should share your story so that other people can have breakthroughs. I mean, what's the point of holding it to yourself if you can't give to others?
Absolutely.
Yeah, that's really powerful, even for me, and this is something that I have struggled with and had breakthrough around, and I was actually born with a nerve disorder, and I've shared this before in the podcast. And for a very, very large part of my life, I kept it to myself, and I didn't tell anyone about it. I didn't want anybody to know, and I vowed that no one would ever figure out, that I would just live a normal life, that I would live, and even I got connected with living an extraordinary life. And I said, no one's ever going to find out what it is I go through and what it takes. And I got very stoic, and I got from a place where I was just in my head all the time, and everything was about making sure no one knew what was going on. And for me, at the time, it felt like strength. It felt like, okay, I'm being strong. I'm not letting this get me down. But the truth is that I get the opportunity, because of what I go through, to empower other people and show them what they're capable of. Because if I can do something, then you can do it too. And I started to be willing to be open about sharing my story. And the truth is that sharing your story is hard. It isn't easy at all. It is scary. It is out of your comfort zone. It takes going from your head to your heart. It's just it's being vulnerable. It's being open, and those are not easy things. Especially for me. Tracy, Nikita, you guys know me. Vulnerable was not a word that I even could say, even 6 months ago. But never mind actually be. But the truth is when you are vulnerable, when you are open, when you are your story, when you share that with others, you really get to make a difference. And, earlier today, I actually prayed to God, and I said, God, thank you for everything I went through, because it made me who I am, and I really get to empower women. And I don't think I could be doing this podcast today. I don't think I could be here today. I don't think I would have been helping and serving the homeless today and going to church today if it wasn't for my struggle. So thank you. Thank you for allowing me. You love me. God loves us more than anyone. Imagine allowing your child to suffer so they can learn. I'm not a mother, but it's amazing. There's no ultimate, it's one of the highest expressions of love. He loves us enough that to be willing to watch us suffer for our benefit and for the benefit of what we can do. And
right.
Tracy, like you said, we are enough. We are enough, and we matter. But we really matter, and we are enough when we're in contribution to others. And like you said, being willing to share our testimony is the most powerful way to really get connected to your purpose and really start to live a life of value.
Absolutely. Absolutely. So, I would just like to leave off with this, as you take this journey, in life, make sure, number one, you're aware of where you're heading, meaning your purpose. What is your purpose in life? And number two, clearly define who or what will be in that driver's seat, because that makes all the difference. And number three, don't be afraid of making mistakes as long as you use them as a life learning experience. And then lastly, always remember that you are more than enough to start and finish this journey that you call life. So don't be afraid to attack it, with everything that you have, because you know what? You only have this one life. You only get to live it once. So make it count and live in purpose.
Thank you so much, Tracy, for that wonderful, wonderful nugget that you've been giving us tonight. It was truly powerful. And if somebody was touched by what you said tonight, how could they get in contact with you?
They can reach me. They can email me at Tracy, Tracey, at otimanagementconsulting.com. That's the best way to reach me. Just email me, and, we can communicate and, move it on from there.
Well, wonderful.
Well, thank you
I'm
so
sure
much.
that you...
Yeah, thank you so much, Tracy, for sharing with us. It was really an amazing call, and it was just, getting to know you over the past few months, and being able to be on a journey of transformation with you. And I just want everybody to really have the experience that we had and just get that they deserve to really get connected to their power and their passion and their purpose. So thank you for being on our call tonight and giving us a little insight into your journey.
Absolutely. Thank you, ladies.
Akina, is there anything you want to add before we close off tonight?
Thank you, Tracy, for being on the show. And if you enjoyed Tracy's show as much as we did, then you can find us on Podomatic, Stitcher, iTunes, SoundCloud, and, of course, ChangeYourMindsOnline.com.
Yeah, so on that note, as we always close off the call, we always tell our listeners, we love you. God bless. Make it a powerful week. And I can't wait to be with you guys again on Thursday at 9 p.m. Eastern Standard Time for our Empowering Women series. Good night, Tracy. Good night, Akina.
Good night, ladies.
Good night.